Hi everybody, this is Dr. Simone here, long time. I wanted to make a video regarding taking the shot. I'm trying not to say that V word because I don't want to put trigger words in my video since I've been flagged a few times and had my videos removed before you ever saw them. So, but I wanted to make a video regarding the shot and um, what my thoughts are about to take or not to take that shot. Right off the bat, let me tell you, I am not going to tell you one way or the other. I just want to give you a set of information that I have, that I'm aware of, that would help you to make an informed decision, because this thing is so new that I think a lot of people are wanting me to predict what will happen to them if they take it. And that's, I am not a fortune teller, so I can't say for sure 100%, what will happen. I can only say, listen, this is what's going on, this is what you need to consider, and this is how, this is what can help you make your decision before going forward. But having said that, I will first share that I did have some concerns when everything was being made and Operation Warp Speed was happening, and I thought, oh gosh, I have never known us to create any shot that where we didn't have to you know make sure that it was safe and spend time flushing out the kinks and things like that. And suddenly we're having something happen, within like a 6 to 8 month period when the average is 5 years. So that was definitely concerning. What I didn't factor in is the fact that a lot of heads were being put together where normally there are departments. There's like your immunization department, your this, your that, because of the fact that we were facing a pandemic. All heads were coming together and everybody was utilizing the best of their departments to fix this problem, because it was a problem upon us. Now, a year ago when things started, your natural was our only option, because people were telling us, okay, if you get sick, just isolate yourself and don't come to the hospital unless you can't breathe or you can't support your breathing. By then it was too late. Okay, so clearly there was no other option but what you could do for yourself at that point. And for me, that always is the first option. Natural is always going to be the first option, because I grew up in South America where I had, herbs growing in my backyard. My mom would pick fever grass and boil it, and suddenly my fever was gone, my inflammation calmed down. So it was hard for someone in conventional medicine to say to me, oh, well, Dr. Simone, nothing natural is going to be helpful. They would lose my confidence right off the bat saying that, because I lived where natural things actually cured me or helped me. And likewise, if a holistic provider tells me that conventional medicine, like all doctors are worthless, and nothing can be uh, nothing can be used in conventional medicine, they will lose my respect, because there are times when whatever I was using to support my system didn't work and didn't help as much as I thought it would, because of, the immune compromise that I face while having sickle cell, or I like to call it immune challenged. And so I would end up, having to either take antibiotics for an infection and then take probiotics to rebalance myself when it was all over. And what I learned is that, conventional medicine and holistic medicine are two parts of the same coin. And it's a beautiful thing to merge them together when you need them. one maybe in one instance, another in another, and sometimes both coming together to work the best for you. And that's how I've approached it. I am an MD. I have been trained in conventional medicine formally, but because of having sickle cell and having to think outside of the box, I've had to look in other areas for healing and or for health maintenance. And so I have found that there are a lot of things outside of conventional medicine that can help. So when they didn't have anything to offer, I made videos and I told you guys, listen, this is how you should build up your immune system. You want to be on vitamin D before anything ever happens, because vitamin D in us is notoriously low. We're sick, we're indoors, and we're dark skinned. That is like a triple whammy, right? So we need to have our vitamin D levels 50 and above, and making sure that that we get tested to check those levels. And then your vitamin C. We talked about vitamin C. We talked about all of the other supplements to be able to boost your system and to be able to prevent infection, to build your immune system as much as you can and prevent infection. However, over time, right, they started coming up with things that could help once somebody was in the hospital. It wasn't just put you on a ventilator and you died. It was, okay, if you did get sick, there could be remdesivir, there could be immune globulins, other things that can be used to help manage your disease until and support you until you were past the disease, right? And so that was an option. Of course, I always say natural and what you can do at home to protect yourself is always going to be present. But if that doesn't work somehow for you because of immune compromise, or because you don't have the money to buy the supplements to take them religiously, and you find yourself sick and needing medical care, then go to the hospital. So here we are a year later, and we have a shot, and people are asking, so should I take the shot? So let me tell you what my concerns were, and then tell you what I think you need to think about before making your final decision. My first concern was that, this shot requires a booster, which means that it's wanting your immune system to produce antibodies, like most shots, to produce antibodies to fight. Most of us don't have a robust immune system, and so we could possibly take the shot and weigh the pros and cons, and would the side effects outweigh the benefits if we're not able to mount an immune response like it's wanting for us to do. So we take it thinking, okay, the benefits outweigh the risks, but then we happen to be an immune compromised population, and then we don't mount a response. And if we don't mount an antibody response, then we could still be vulnerable to the virus, right? And still be at risk. And so those were my thoughts. I'm just showing you my journey of thoughts here. And by the way, I'm looking at my computer, and because I wanted to make sure that I addressed all the points. I was also concerned, like I said, about the speed of the vaccine, and mainly because it didn't give a whole lot of time to monitor for side effects. What I've come to understand is that a lot of the technology that was used were in existence for a long time and is only just being used for this particular effort because of the speed in which we needed to get it done. And so, yes, it is a new technology, but it's not a technology that hasn't in this area, but it's not a new technology overall. It's actually been around and flushed out for many years, and then now it's being used in the area of making a shot. My last concern was how quickly the virus changes. Now, I went to medical school. I know about viruses. I did virology, immunology, epidemiology. I know that things can change, viruses can mutate, and that's their way of staying alive. I mean, they have to adapt so that they can continue to replicate and stay alive. So what happens is a virus actually uses our system to make itself, to replicate itself. And let me explain how this works. So, in general, our body has DNA, it's called deoxyribonucleic acid, and then it sends a messenger to make more of itself. That is one strand. I'm sure you've seen the DNA strand, and it's a double strand and it's helical. Well, the messenger RNA is a single strand, and it's basically a coding from your DNA being sent to say to the body, make some of this, make some of that. So our whole body is a coding system. It's a coding system that's based off of our DNA. Make proteins, make carbohydrates, make this, make that. It's all coding for different things all day long. It's quite amazing. What happens is that viruses, in this case an mRNA virus, mRNA virus, so it's a messenger RNA virus, and viruses tend to be RNA viruses. There are DNA viruses, but they will come in with their material, right, to be copied, to make themselves, to duplicate themselves. And they will kind of come in and sneak their material into our system. So it's kind of like our system's a little factory making this, making that, and there's a long line of things to make, and they'll just go join the line and go, yeah, make some of this. And so the body's busy making, right? It doesn't realize at first that it has included some material from a virus to be coded. And so it gets coded, viruses get replicated, and then the virus starts doing their thing. And if your immune system is not sharp enough, your immune system will be like, is that really foreign, or is it one of us? Because it doesn't want to attack its own body, right? Because then you have things like lupus, where the body's attacking itself. So it doesn't want to do that. So it might hang out and go, I'm not sure if this is if this is something that's one of us, or if this is foreign. That's what an immune compromised system will do for a much longer period. A robust immune system would be like, that ain't us. That is not us. Kill them. And they'll send out the police, if you will, to attack the virus and kill them. And that's your whole immune system. And the immune cascade gets triggered, and there are T cells and B cells and all sorts of things. I don't want to go into the weeds and lose anybody, but there's a whole cascade that ends up basically getting them, and so and killing them, and so destroying the material so that it's eliminated and you are no longer sick. I heard a video of a nurse saying that with this shot, that we're asking the body to make something, and then we're asking the body to attack that same thing, and that's not normal. That is actually what the body does all the time. And see, this is where a little bit of information might be dangerous, because if you haven't gone through studying immunology and virology and epidemiology, you it can be difficult to understand that in fact is how our body works. When a virus enters, they line up and they do the same thing. They basically get our body to make copies of their material, and then it's our body that has to go, that completed material doesn't look like something that usually hangs out around here. And so then our body goes after it. So our body makes it, and then our body goes after it because it don't look like one thing, don't look like the other. So when you have a shot that's made of the messenger RNA spike protein, and the spike protein is basically the part of the virus that is attaching to the cell and being able to invade its host, right? Like us. So instead of the whole virus coming into your body, what they're doing in a shot is they're just giving you a piece of the material that codes for that the part of the virus that attaches on. So they basically take the virus, go, okay, this is your nuclear material that you're using to code for attaching to our cells. Good. I'm going to make a whole bunch of that, just that, not the rest of you that infects us and does all that stuff. I'm just going to make a whole bunch of that part of you that attaches on, and I'm going to give it to the body. So the body is going to think that you're coming after it, and the body is going to make a bunch of antibodies against it, so that as soon as the real thing comes, like the virus with all its stuff, when it tries to attach on and the body recognizes that part of the nuclear material, it'll go, that's not one of us, and it'll just, attack and basically save you from becoming completely invaded and infected. So I want you to know that, because really, on paper, what they're doing is nothing different from what a virus does to your body, except that you're not getting the infectious part of the virus. You're just getting the part of the virus that your body needs to recognize to form antibodies so that you could be protected when the actual virus ever presents itself to your body to try to invade your body. And so with that, when you are considering whether or not to take the vaccine, I want you to consider these things. I want you to consider these things. I want you to consider that they're not just giving our sickle cell population the vaccine. They're giving everybody the vaccine. Now, I know my concern, like I said, is that it's not like it was tested on sickle cell patients to know how we would fare with it. But my comfort in a way is knowing that if they're making this for everyone, if any things should happen, side effects should show up, they would have a huge mandate to do something about it, right? Because now it's your whole country that's going through something. And so you would much more likely be remedied, because you're not just a sickle cell population going through it where they could ignore you, but you're a bigger part of the population, the whole population going through it, and they have to worry about that whole population. And so you're more likely to be remedied, because they would have the burden of treating you or taking care of you because of the fact that you took the shot along with everyone else. The other thing to consider is that we are not usually treated with equality when we go to the hospital. We know that if we show up for, let's say we were actually sick and we had COVID and we showed up, um, we are less likely to be treated well. And we are I remember a year ago, a lot of people were being sent home, told that they didn't really have it, weren't even given a test. I mean, it was crazy. And so a lot of people of color died, not because they were more susceptible with the vitamin D, and they were, but because they never even got a chance to get into a hospital or to get on a ventilator. Because when things were scarce, guess who didn't get it, right? It was people of color. And so, and that may not have been a hospital policy, but that's how individual people with their prejudices treated us. And that was the end result, right? And so, because of that, because of knowing that, you wouldn't want to be in a situation where you had COVID and and it was, high season and there was very little resources and you needed some of it, because you have a high likelihood that you would not have access to the resources equally. So when I look at the risks and the benefits, I think, well, in that case, it might actually be better to protect yourself so that you don't have to go to the hospital. Because in this time, if you went to the hospital, you have a high likelihood of not making it, right? So you would want to have some protection. The other thing is to consider is that a lot of people aren't going to the hospital for really serious things because they are afraid of getting COVID. And so, if that shot could eliminate that problem, that would be great. Or minimize that problem, that would be great. Because if you have that on board, now you are, feeling somewhat more protected. And prayerfully, if you have a history of doing well when you take your, flu shots or whatever. I don't have a history of doing well when I take the flu shots. I've actually been hospitalized 4 different times that I even could put together. It took a long time to realize that the flu shot was actually causing me to be sick and hospitalized, including being in the ICU. Like, it took a long time because my relatively immune challenged body didn't pick up immediately that something was happening to it, and didn't start to even it didn't really resist anything. So I got so sick so many times. And so my history is not good when it comes to vaccinations. And so for me, the challenge is, will I, continue to do the things I know to do and hunker down and stay away and do whatever my due diligence is so that I don't end up having another reaction to something. And so everybody's decision has to be individual and based on your experience of your body. So for those of you who have been okay with taking the flu shot, been okay with taking other shots, I think that the benefits would outweigh the risks in terms of you protecting yourself. And especially so if you are not someone that would take your supplements and do the routine preventive things that you would need to do to be able to protect your immune system, or you may not have the finances to do it, then you do want another way of being able to protect yourself. And I think those are some thoughts that I have. So hopefully this is helpful to you. And like I said, everybody is different. Your set of circumstances is different from mine. And so I completely understand with whatever decision you choose to make. I am going in the knowledge that whatever decision I make, I have to mentally be aligned with that decision, because there's a great mind body connection. And if you are conflicted with a treatment, then there's a lesser likelihood that that treatment will work. You have to be in alignment with the idea that that treatment can help you. Otherwise, you can actually sabotage your progress of that treatment. So, whatever you decide, make sure that you are okay with that decision, and that your mind is well aligned with your body on how you're handling yourself. I believe that if we do everything with the best intention for this temple, then we will be okay. We have to remember that there is a sovereign God. And so, when we're running around, saying, things like, oh, this can kill you and that can kill you. Well, not if it's not your time. You might have some challenges, and we don't know that. You can have challenges on things you don't even think about. I mean, think, for example, a lot of us are trying new treatments for our sickle cell. And for me, it's a Adakveo and it's going great. So you have to take a chance to help your health at some point, and you have to weigh the risks and the benefits for yourself. I hope that this was helpful. God bless you, and hope you have a great rest of your year, and that it is a better year than last year. Thank you.